The thing about catering to, let's say, economic leftists, let's call them that, is that you risk, is at a high risk that you will end up at a loss in terms of your money, because those folks do not care about your bottom line at all. And they show this time and time and time again in different ways. I'm going to actually make this video personable to myself. We're going to look over a comment, but let's first talk about this real quick. Got some messages about this. People want me to discuss it. Vice Media is preparing to file for bankruptcy. I believe it was the Wall Street Journal that initially reported on this, but the company, which was valued at $5.7 billion in 2017, is considering the move after struggling to find a buyer, according to reports. They've been, and I think a lot of these brands that saw a big rise, especially in the mid kind of 2010s, we saw what happened to BuzzFeed. We're seeing what's happening to some of these other brands. That model was not sustainable. It's very uninteresting. Long term, long periods of time, and of course they've devoted a lot of their style of I don't know what it is you want to call it. You can't really call it reporting or journalism, but it's more so activism. Hilariously, considering how Vice started off as, but where it's at now is so far removed from that. It's what it gets you. What I wanted to discuss, though, making this personal to me, this is somebody that made this comment that I saw someone post. Actually, it's Ripperverse Gold Post that posted it, and I saw this on Twitter. And this is what they said. Hell, Valiant has the lowest sales, still maintain profit if on a $3 to $5 price point. First of all, that's not actually true. Valiant, the reason why they've moved to only a handful of titles and they're releasing those monthly now, because they have had significant economic problems over the last years. It has been widely reported. They have slimmed down. They've had massive layoffs. They are an absolute shell of themselves. There's been transfers of ownership, all of that stuff. Of all the people to point to, you point to the company that is actively losing money. And this isn't any disrespect to Valiant or people that like that. I'm just giving it to you straight. It says still maintain profit at $3 to $5. They are selling books like that of $3, like let's say it's $4 essentially. They only have 20 pages of story, some of them, but they're $4. Which of course I'm not going to be selling anything by that much because I'm not selling 20-page floppies. Okay, and that's what they do, and that's fine if that's what they want to do. Other guys in the mainstream can do it, but you've seen that this isn't really economically viable. We see artists and writers all the time crying about being broke. Look, the price point and the enthusiasm, the price point is where it's at. That's what they want to set it at. That's their business. But also the level of enthusiasm isn't actually there. But you see this guy, he says, calling me a grifter, and it's just the fact that I made money. That's why he's claiming that. He doesn't care about comics. He cares about selling perception, his perception to the audiences rather than the passion and love dedicated to crafting a story. Basically, it's that, again, economic leftists, and a lot of artists are economic leftists, and they look at it like it's passion projects, which is why often a lot of them get used and abused, and a lot of them end up broke because they don't look at it like I look at it, and that's from a market standpoint. It's not just about what it is that I want to do, though this is absolutely what it is that I wanted to do. I wrote it. Okay, I wrote it. I started a company. I invested hundreds of thousands of my own dollars in order to make this happen and make this possible. I'm in the business of making money, however. I am a businessman. And this guy also says, it sickens me to the core on how much so many people pretend they're comic fans. I think you should speak to maybe yourselves when it comes to that, because a lot of these guys who claim to be fans of all this material, the sales don't certainly reflect that. It's funny you mentioned Valiant. I would go look at those. Definitely when Diamond were actually having those reports, they were not doing that well. Okay, now everybody's hiding their numbers. So it's oftentimes you have people on the internet pretending to like material that they don't actually like. Also says comic fans, while never delving into the incredible history and creators who put their hearts and souls into their craft over the 100+ years of the craft being around. So it's funny, they call us gatekeepers when I would consider that's what it is. where I guess you have this way that you think people like myself are supposed to operate. You say it's narcissism. Like, it's like that one guy, the baby gangster. It's the baby gangster stuff all the time. You've heard me talk about that so many times, about these weirdos who act like I got to check in and do things a certain way. Like, first of all, I don't know y'all like that. I don't care to know y'all like that. And I'm not in the business of trying to impress a bunch of freaking losers. My goal here is to make this a profitable company. I have to make it a profitable company, because how else are my employees going to get paid? How else are we going to continue to make material that it is that people want? I have a significant amount of employees and contractors. We just moved into a new warehouse. I got to keep these guys staffed. I want to keep it staffed. I want to give people great job opportunities. I want to give people, again, competitive pay. I want to be able to do that. And that all starts with our sales. Okay. So everything that we analyze is based exactly on that. It's how do we grow the company? Okay. We don't bite off more than we can chew, but the price point is reflective of that. Yeah, there's production costs and all of that. We have to see what people are willing to pay for it, for sure. Production costs are part of it. You know, this was a book that was not bind in a traditional perfect bind. It was a Smyth zone. It was 2 grades above in terms of the paper stock of the industry standard. So we kind of went overkill with the quality, the physical quality of the book. And yeah, costs are going to be reflective of that. We analyze that. We go into the next campaign with ISOM 2. I'm going to keep the price point at the same place. We've lowered our shipping costs for our international customers. We've inked some deals that allow us to do that. And we're going to keep it at the same price point, and we're going to add more pages, which also means the other books, which are 96 pages, as we've already announced, those other books are also going to be cheaper than, like, say, ISOM. 96 pages. ISOM 1's 96 pages, because those are 96-page books. So the price point will be less than $35. It's all about analyzing the market, and I'm here to run a business. And that's the thing that I can see where other people find it annoying. I find it more pathetic, because I look at the landscape of the industry and how so many people are broke, pissy broke at that, and they're always begging for money and doing all this weird stuff on the internet, telling their sob stories because they've been used and abused, especially by the mainstream guys. And then they see someone that tried to correct the problem, and sure, yeah, maybe I don't agree with you politically, or rather you don't agree with me, and so you despise. But look at it from the perspective of, I'm running a profitable business with over 20 plus contractors and employees that work for me, and really we've given them an opportunity to be themselves, while also, of course, they do great work. It's a job at the end of the day, but the pay is competitive. We make sure that they're taken care of. We give them a great work environment. You don't look at it from that perspective. They don't care about that, because you shouldn't take advice from a lot of these weirdos, because they're economically illiterate. And that's why anybody who looks at something like that, look at Valiant, of all the examples that you want to point to, and you acknowledge that they have the lowest sales, and you're lying about them maintaining profit. They've been having economic issues forever. Why on earth will we try to mimic a dying and archaic model that has left its creatives broke? Why on earth would I mimic that model? If you enjoyed this video and want to support other content, please become a member at ericdjuly.com. This is my own unique platform that replaced my Patreon. Our Ultramax, which is our highest tier, gets free shipping domestically, even with Rippaverse orders, and are able to redeem the Creators Edition copy of ISOM #1. You can move up and down tiers or cancel at any time. Also visit Rippaverse.com. This is my comic book company that launched a $3.7 million campaign. We appreciate your support.